Hello there, and good morning to you all. Today we are going to do some more writing sprints because, well, that's what we do here at the Writing Room. We write together. And, well, I'm going to welcome to the stage Miss Story Tyrant. Sorry, we've been being a little silly backstage and singing together, so yes.
I can't sing.
I don't know. I beg to differ. I've heard much worse. Just saying.
God, you poor woman. The Geneva Convention can be called in then.
Yeah.
You might say, hey, Geneva Convention, this is torture.
Okay, so we are going to give people a few minutes to join us so that we can also get ourselves prepared and say hello and have a little chat for a moment. So, Tyra, what are you whoa, I can't talk today. What are you working on today?
I am still editing Blood is Black. I am at page 350, and this past week was a crazy week. I kept forgetting which day of the week I was on. And yes, last week was very difficult. So I'm hoping March is better.
It will be. And Laura is with us. Hello, Laura.
Welcome. Hey.
This doesn't stop for me now that I learned this whole clapping in the air thing. It's not really clapping, but it's like a celebration. I don't know. Okay. And suddenly this bright light shines down upon us. Okay. So I'm really bizarre mode. Here's the thing. Last night, we were able to actually see each other in person. So our writing group, there's 4 of us. We actually went to a restaurant. We all sat at our own tables, and they were very kind and gave us our own little room. And we actually got to talk face to face instead of having a Skype call for the first time in since probably November.
Yeah.
So
we were loud. We had to be loud because we had to hear, hello, CB.
Hello, nice to see you. Hi. So I was also very excited this morning to find that I found my little... Now here's the thing. He is a USB.
Oh, I remember him. Okay.
He's a flash drive. So I actually had misplaced him for a very long time, and I discovered him in my writing bag of all places. The one place I actually looked there a million times, but there's a hidden pouch that I forgot about, so I actually hid it from myself. So, CB, what you working on today? I am actually working on, I'm so excited. I am starting my rewrite of my very first Alganthus novel called The First Rose of Alganthus. And I have little notes written down of a new intro that I wrote a while ago. And I finally found it this morning. So I'm actually going to type it up, and then I'm going to refer back to my original First Rose, and I'm going to keep writing with it. So I'm excited. Back to fantasy. Woo!
Yes. Good. Back to the roots, baby.
Yes. Bart Simpson. That would be cute. You'll have to show us sometime.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. So one other change I'm going to be doing shortly is I'm going to start a brand new email address that is specific for my AuthorTube channel and for my future podcast. And that way I can kind of keep my author business emails separate from my AuthorTube and podcast emails, because it's kind of blending together right now. Soulmates, the Stock Family Journey.
Ooh.
Stark. Okay. This is like a fan fiction, right? I'm thinking Stark family.
You're thinking from
Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I was wondering, is it Game of Thrones or is it a different verse?
Right, yeah, it could be something completely different. It just happens to be the same last name. That's very possible. Yeah. And Laura, I bet, is still working on editing. What chapter are you editing now, Laura? I am thankful to get back into an actual writing mode today, because most of the time I've been working on editing and revising and improving and adding on. And so I finally I've got a blank sheet of paper in front of me on the screen, and I'm very excited to just move forward.
Isn't that nice?
It's a good feeling. I feel like I'm getting rid of all of my, if I was a snake, I'd be getting rid of all of my skins and
growing out.
Yes, exactly. So it might just be It might just be the four of us, possibly, which is perfectly fine with me. Marvel fanfic. So, Stark. Stark.
Oh, as in Stark, as in the Stark Tower, as in Iron Man.
Yeah, Iron Man. I can see his face, like, and everything. Yes, thank you. That makes more sense to me now.
Well, it could have been either.
You got it. I'm on chapter 16. Awesome. You are moving along.
Good.
You got it.
You, me, for editing. Woot woot.
Yes. Editing power. Go team. I'm writing. I'm just so excited. I'm actually writing for the first time in a while. All right. Are we ready?
Ready.
Over to our 20-minute. Now, I wanted to ask first. I know some people really like 25-minute sprints. Is 20-minute sprints okay, or should we bump it up to 25 minutes? Put a little comment in there, and I will wait before I start in case anybody has any different thoughts.
I'm good. But
I know when John is here, I saw him mention last week that 25 minutes is his preferred time, but I don't know what everybody else feels like. What do you think, Tyra?
I'll go with what everybody else goes with. I'm happy with 20, and I'd be happy with 25. So I've never done 25-minute sprints. So.
Okay. I think I used to do 25 minutes because sometimes when you're writing, sometimes it takes a little bit to get warmed up, and then it's like you're disappointed that the timer's over. But I'm happy either way. I just wanted to see what everybody else felt like. So Laura's good with 20 minutes. What do you think, CB? Do you think 20 minutes is good, or should we bump it up to 25? Okay, so maybe for the first one, we will stick with the 20 minutes, and then if we need to change it for the next one, we can. All right. On your marks, get set, edit, write, and whatever. Okie dokie. First writing sprint is done, and I feel like that went by very quickly. How did everybody do? Yes. Where is my word count? I don't know why it's not giving me a word count.
I had a crash and had to turn things back on and
no.
recover my documents. It was like, okay.
Oh.
Everything is fine because everything's been saved, but it was just like, all right, sure.
Yeah. Well, that sucks.
But then I got distracted and started typing on an ongoing project that's not allowed to be worked on until this is done. I had to stop myself and save it and close it and put it away.
Yeah. I was struggling to find the name of my dwarf because I named it in my other story. So I had to go through my original version and try to find the name because I felt like it was holding me back from continuing. So, but I did manage to get 103 words in. So I guess that's better than nothing. How's the editing going, Laura? And the other story there with the Stark family? Yes, yeah, this is fun. I'm so excited to be writing fantasy again. I put it aside for the last year to work on the crime thrillers and the budgeting book. So this is a very good thing.
Yeah, you have to make a Bible or a wiki for your projects. I usually do that after the third or fourth time I'm looking for a name. And I go, I got to do it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I have an about Elganthus thing, and the characters from the first rows aren't on that sheet except for the Dragon King. So I was missing him on that sheet. So I'm starting a new one specifically for just this book, and then I'll have that separate one for the whole world of Elganthus.
How do you organize it? Because I've talked to some people, and some people organize it by creature or race in their fantasy verses. Some people organize it by world, a race, world, and information, and then who the most important characters are. Some people do it by alphabetical order, and some people do it by order of appearance. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, I do it just order of appearance kind of thing, just because I'm typing while I'm writing. So as soon as I add a new character, I go back and add it to the list, so it's just coming down in order.
Okay.
I don't go down into much sequencing for that. I just kind of say, okay, this is the character name, this is their race, and this is their connection to the other characters. So like, this is a dwarf, this is an elf, this is a Drake who is a companion to the elf, kind of thing. Okay,
Oh,
so
good.
177 words. Whoop, whoop, that's a good one.
Yes, every word is a new word. It's a word.
Yes, you almost tripled my word count. 1.5 times anyways, or 2.5 times. Anyways, I found a little inconsistency, so I had to rearrange a paragraph or two. I guess that's what editing is for, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's exactly it. That's like the beginning of the end. No, just joking. Yeah. Yes. I'm not very talkative today, unfortunately. I don't have lots to say. I do want to talk about printers, but I'm going to have to wait until we have another 5 minutes, because 1 minute is not going to be enough time to talk about printers.
I keep forgetting this thing has that duplexer. So I'm sitting here yesterday morning, and it's printing away. I don't know what they're printing from the basement. And it's going whoop, whoop. I'm like, and it's going to print again. I'm like, what is that? I look, and it's printing. So I go, whoop, whoop, what is that? Right. And then I look back and I watch the sheet comes out and it gets sucked back in. I'm like, oh, right, the duplexer. It's like 3/4 out, like not all the way out, and then gets sucked back in and makes this little noise that it gets sucked back in. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah,
Exactly. Problem with having the printer right behind you. Or were you trying to record and it suddenly turns on? It's like,
yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, no, my printer is very quiet. The one that I currently have. Again, that's going to be another discussion. But yeah, no, it doesn't make any funky sounds on me, so that's good. There's no ghost in my printer.
Well, the old one, my old printer, which has a thing you click on the back for duplexing, which we never bought. It's a little bit quieter. It was a little bit quieter than this one. It's in the office now, and it only does black and white right now, so that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
People coming in. How's the boy and the dog and the hi Shy? What you doing? Anyway, I have decided when I do my videos just to leave the interruptions in, because if I try to tape around them, I don't get any taping done.
No, and you know what? It actually adds some interest sometimes to the videos, and people kind of enjoy those interruptions because they understand it, because they go through the same thing. So it's kind of like that little giggle and that little breakup from the serious listening kind of stuff. So I think that's a wonderful idea.
It's not a choice, or I'll never get anything done.
Yeah. This has just become like a little fidget thing now.
Ah.
Like, you know, almost like that little anxiety or fidget spinner. It's like, I'm just going to hold on. Actually, I can't do that while I'm writing. All right. Let's get back to productivity. Focus, Tanya. Focus. All right. On your marks, get ready, set, go. Alrighty, sprint number 2 is done. Let's put our 5-minute break timer on the clock so that we can stay productive. So how did it go? I'd had my quantity of words.
Good.
Oh, were you still muted and talking at the same time?
Yes, technical difficulties.
We got 226 in.
Good.
That was a good round. But I have to keep stopping myself and thinking what my original plan was and what my goal was with the first book. I did not do my plotting of all of my books and my timelines yet. I figured I wanted to start and get back into that headspace first before I start working on it.
But hey, what works for you is what you have to do. You should also have a piece of paper and just write out the goal for this novel. Or have another document open and just write a quick goal for the novel. Maybe like in larger print than normal, like in 14 or 15.
Yeah.
Print her off, put her on the table. That way, where am I? Oh, right. Where am I? Oh, right. If you work that way. Do you work that way?
I don't know. I don't know if I have like. I think I have to reread the entire first novel, which I'm actually surprised. That novel was 70,000 words, and I hadn't even looked at it or improved it in any way, shape, or form, and it was tended to be longer than that. So,
oh yeah, be 120.
I don't want to just shove it aside. So I have to start looking at it piece by piece and seeing what's there. You know, I did make myself a juice though. Yes, juice is very good. So do you use like a blender and you're kind of making your own, like do you have like fruit and stuff in there? CB 176. Woohoo! Doing good. Moving along. Yes. Okay. So printers. Right. So I have a Canon that is an inkjet that does not duplex, and nor do I print on a regular basis. So I have to keep replacing my little ink cartridges, and it's absolutely terrible. So I have been looking at printers for about a year. I want something that doubles sides and a laser jet so I don't have to keep replacing individual cartridges. So I needed to find something that was affordable but good quality that was going to last a long time. Originally, I was going to get this. First we looked at Oki, and the Okis are costly and they're not as easily accessible for us. We would have to order them online, and then we'd have to pay, shipping and stuff and get separate cartridges and stuff. So we wanted something that was local that we could easily get and easily maintain. So we ended up settling on 2 printers, and there's a good reason for this. I wanted something that I could use to print off booklets and make my own little booklets of my short stories to sell at like craft and vendor sales. So one that we got was a Brother printer, and it does the duplexing. It prints 36 pages per minute, so it's a decent speed, and the resolution is 1200 by 1200, which is decent, which is pretty good. It's black. It's just black. It's not a color printer. So then we got a separate printer just to do the covers and color, because the resolution was 3800 by 1200, which is also really good. Mm-hmm. So it's like a photo quality printer. Yeah. But I want to be able to use, cardstock and print good quality covers to put over my booklets. But the good thing about this one, it is an inkjet, but it's got like ink tubes. So you get like a bottle of ink and you pour it into each tube, and it's only about $30 to replace each individual tube, but it doesn't dry out like a regular ink cartridge does. And that way, if I'm not printing it or printing with it on a regular basis, it's not actually going to dry up on me and cost me a ton of money like this one is. So now the other one that we had looked at was also a Canon, which was a LaserJet color printer duplexing. But there was 2 things. There was 4 separate cartridges that would be $100 each anytime you wanted to replace it. Mm-hmm. Now that wouldn't be too bad because you might not be using as much color, so you would just be replacing the black on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. but the resolution was only 600 by 600. Yeah, I didn't think this would get finished in the... Okay, I'm going to keep going. Okay, so 600 by 600 is not very good when you want to get a good quality cover and good quality print. That's good for like personal use, but it's not so good for professional use. So yes, so that's why I had to go with 2 printers, because it was either get an all-in-one that was lower quality, that was more expensive, or focus on getting a good quality fast-paced black duplex printer and then get a separate good quality printer just for the covers. So that's what we did, and it ended up being about $50 cheaper getting the 2 printers than it was to get the all-in-one. So it worked out pretty good. Now the benefit is the toner for the black and white duplexing is only $65 to replace, or you can get the $100 one, which is a higher yield.
Yeah.
So, so, and I've actually heard that Brother is one of the top rated printer in terms of quality and longevity. So keeping it for a long time.
I had a Brother years ago, and I wore its feet off. We couldn't replace the feet. So although it was printing, I had to feed every sheet in one at a time because I literally wore off the pickups.
Oh,
so
but you can replace that part, right?
Oh, I couldn't, because it had gone, my printer was already like 10 years old. When I say I wore that little thing out, I go through printers. That's why.
Yeah, so the other thing is you could, with the Brother, he said the only thing is once you get to like around 10,000 sheets printed, you may need to replace the drum.
Oh yes, that is standard. I've gone through on my old printer, my big Oki, now it's in the office. I've replaced the drum twice. And we've replaced drum, and we've replaced, there's 2 things in there you replace. We've replaced the drum, and this other thing is a flat thing in there. There's a drum and a flat thing, and we've done the ink cartridges. And that one out there, it's none of those cartridges are less than $100. But the color cartridges do 5,000 or 7,000 sheets, as if you were to print the whole sheet in color. So no one prints a whole sheet in color, so they last. But my black and white toner, which is the big one, that machine. So you gotta understand, when I say I've printed a lot, I've gone through over 10 cases of paper, not 10 reams on that beastie, over 10 cases of paper. So when I say that poor machine, it has earned its semi-retirement to the office.
It's been well used.
Yes. And by having 2 printers, you have saved yourself a hassle. If one goes down, you have the other one.
That's true, because you can still do black and white with the ink one, with the liquid ink, as a backup. And I still have this other inkjet one. So I think I'm still going to keep it just in case I have problems. The only thing is, of course, it's going to cost money to... But I mean, at least I can still use it. So say if I wanted to print off some bookmarks or little business cards or something, I can still use that ink up before I switch to the other one. I could use it for small stuff. Okay, you don't deserve a family, Parker. You're a spidery creep, and I really don't like you. Why don't you disappear before I do what I normally do to spidery creeps and smack you with one of my sandals?
I like that.
I could just picture this. That's awesome. I love the personality in that. That's great. We have something called squash over here. It's a concentrated flavored juice that you add water to it. Nothing fancy. Oh, okay.
Is that like not elderberry juice? We buy this stuff. It's black currant juice. I got hooked on it as a kid with my English relatives. And you add either 7-Up or ginger ale to it, and you drink it. And is that like that? Have you ever done that, Tanya? You buy the black currant juice?
I haven't. No.
Really?
No.
I'm going to get people. We're on our third sprint.
Yes, thank you. I forgot to switch that before. I do have a question. I don't know if you saw it in the chat.
My chat's blank.
Oh, here. That's the one.
Ah,
that's for you. Yes.
I love that.
Okay. So, what would you call a group of dragons? I know when they are flying, you can call them a flight or a flock. But what if you're just referring to them as a group like this line? we were fools to challenge Grolka's. It's not like a tribe. It's not a clan. What would you just refer to them to? Like,
I
I don't know
thought
if I want to call them flight all the time.
they were always called flight, but I'm going to go Google that. I can do that, right? Wait a minute. Here we
Yeah,
go.
I did look at that up too, and there was a where, a WEYR, but that's specific to a specific author.
Now, what is a group of dragons called? Okay, one moment. Group of dragons is called a flight or a where or a school or a wing.
So
In Japan, they're called a tatsu, which means flock.
okay. Yeah,
So
you and I found the same thing. See,
Yeah.
but a where is specific to Anne McCaffrey's fictional world of Pern.
Actually,
She is okay.
a where comes from hunting birds. You keep them in that. That's where they live. So I'm thinking that's where she got it from.
So I could technically create my own word,
Yes,
or
you
for now I just put the word tribe in so I knew what I was referring to. Because, like, yeah, I don't know if I'm big on calling it a flight. I don't know why, but it's just like flight to me is like an action, right? We're going on a flight. We're going to take a flight, or I'm going to send you off the cliff and send you for a flight off the cliff. Okay. So I'm going to do some more digging on that and see if I can find something else. All right. Are we all ready? Yeah, gander would be good because it's an anagram of danger and dragons are dangerous.
Ooh, I like that.
Gander. See, I don't know. What is
Gander.
I think of a goose when I see the gander.
Add a DR in the front, maybe. Put the G in the back.
Yeah, you know, I could make up my own
Dragger.
mixed.
I called them weirs because I was thinking about hunting hawks and keeping, but I also called them weirs for tame dragons. I didn't call them weirs for wild dragons.
Okay.
That makes sense. I use a different phrase for wild dragons. But I've never published that book. It just sits there quietly.
I wonder how many times we could all say that. I never published that one. I never published that one. Yeah. I feel like we're on, like, you know, skipping on the record. Okay, now I'm aging myself. Okay. So, let's get back to some productivity, and thank you. And yes, I will keep working on this. All right. And you ready? Are you ready? On your ready. Get set. I can't talk. Go. Well then, third sprint is done. I am just going to put on our little 5-minute timer here. And I'm probably only going to make it through one more sprint. I don't know about you, but I'm a little tired and slow today. So yes. And we have, of course, the personal stuff to look after, like, laundry and dishes and shopping. And so I don't want to tie up too much time.
Yeah, I got to get some laundry done.
Sorry?
I have to get some laundry done. It's on right now. I have to run downstairs and put it through.
Oh yeah, see, my laundry doesn't keep moving while we're sitting here because it's very nearby, so I can't do it while I'm on the live stream.
Yeah.
So I got 169 words, so not as much as before, but I was kind of stuck on one paragraph, kind of fighting with the language. And yes,
I had an epiphany, and I've been looking for the spots to place said epiphany about the character and who he is, what he wants out of life. And I hit the scene, and I was able to do it by replacing the word home with the word house. Instead of saying I need to get back home, he has to get back to the house.
Okay. That's a similar thing that I was struggling with, was that the dwarves have lost their homes, but I didn't want to call them homeless. So I called them, I had to reword that in a way to say that, we are without home, or, something different than homeless.
Our dwellings are gone.
We've lost our dwelling. I was going to say mountain home, but I think that's a Tolkien thing. 101 words started dinner. It's 4:30. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We are definitely on a different time zone, my friend. We are at 10:30 a.m.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, though. 100 words. You're still going. 100 words to the good. And how's editing going, Laura? Are you being productive and getting lots done on chapter 16? I think I'm going to need a nap at some point today. All that, going out yesterday and actually living life was exhausting.
I came home and went to bed. I was cooked. I was like, came home, handed the bag over to them, and said, I gotta go to bed.
The bag of food. Yeah, I gave my hubby his piece of cheesecake.
Oh.
And he says it's not steak. But anyways, then he was still eating and like this, and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to bed, like I'm done. So yeah, I crashed. I watched a little bit of The Flash on Netflix, and then I crashed.
Yeah. I went and laid down, and I grabbed my book. I thought, I'll read. I looked at my book and went, I won't read. And I woke up at 3, and my book is like poking me here.
Oh, no.
It's like, oh, it's my book.
Yeah, that's one thing that I have to do this year is I have to make more time for reading. I haven't done a lot of reading like last year. I couldn't get into that mindset, So.
I'm having an issue this year, and I was all upset until Curtis pointed out to me, because sometimes you need someone else to say, excuse me. So I normally read 1 to 2 novels a month, like large novels, or 3 to 4, depending on the month I'm having. But I always read 1 to 2 novels a month. Like at the end of the year, if I haven't read 20 novels, it's a weird thing. Well, this is the first year since, the only time this has happened is the year my mother died. This is the first year since then I have not finished a novel this year in 2021. But I said to Chris, I'm not reading. What's wrong with me? He goes, well, you finished a bunch of short stories. I said, well, yeah, I read a bunch of short stories. He says, and you've been reading lots and lots of magazines and newspaper articles on the farming. And I said, yes. This is the first year I've had all these subscriptions. So I've been reading those articles. And he says, and you've been reading your Writer's Digest, and you've been reading these books on writing craft. I said, yes. That's
true. You've still been reading. It's just not, fiction.
But I'm also working full time, Monday to Friday, not large split shift, right?
Right.
And he says to me, like, you're definitely still reading, and I'm reading, like New Scientist. I'm reading the scientific articles as well. And so he says, like, you're still reading. You're just not reading the fiction you normally read.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
UK. I was wondering about that. Of utter twaddle.
I love that word, twaddle.
I love it. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, that's, wow, 1,000 words. That's a lot.
Yep.
So when you delete, do you archive that somewhere else in case you need to refer back to it, or do you completely like, boom, gone?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
bad memories. Bad memories.
Oh, this thing is acting up kind of funky. Okay, so I'm going to change this banner to last sprint because I'm not going to make it. I'm like on a downhill spiral here.
Hey, that happens.
Yeah, I'll probably step away for a couple of minutes just to kind of get a break from the screen because I think that's what it is. It's the lights in the screen, and the lights last night really bothered me. Like dimming the lights really helped, but I really felt it. So, but anywho, okay, I can't move my mouse. There it is. Sometimes I keep it, but this wasn't worth keeping.
Hey, you'll know. You'll know in your heart.
Yep, you'll know exactly. I know that's my thing with this whole, restarting the first Roosevelt Ganthus is like when I looked at the word count, I'm like, damn, that's 70,000 words. I don't want to scrap that. So now it's going to be a side by side. So what I could do is copy and paste into the new one and then modify it, just the stuff that I want to keep.
Mm-hmm. But it's a false, what they call it, a false something. It's like when you invest in something and then you go, well, I've already put this money in, so I have to keep investing. It's a false thing. It's a false equivalence. They tell you don't throw good money after old. Well, don't throw good words after old.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
Always
true.
when you're looking at the old stuff, and this is from experience, you got to really take off the writer's hat, put on that editor hat, and go, like real, be tough, be tough. I know it's hard.
It's kind of like look at it, find the good or the purpose of that paragraph and say, okay, how can I make that better and start fresh on the next page?
Yes. Yeah. And it's hard. Anyway, it tells you it's easy. They're getting a slap upside the head, or I don't know what they're writing.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's get going on our last sprint. And on your marks, get ready, get set, and go. Okie dokie. Last sprint has been completed. How did everybody do? Did you get a lot of work? Oh, where'd she go? We just lost Tyra. She just literally disappeared off of our screen. Well, I'll give her a moment and see if she's coming back. And if not, then we'll shut her down. So thanks so much for joining us today, and I hope that you got some stuff done. CB, what's your word count? Did you get some more words in? Laura, any more deleting? I know that you were deleting a lot there. I hardly got any words in. I literally stared at my page. I think it's time for me to take a break. I think I'm done for the day. I feel like I'm going cross-eyed. Yes, that's how I feel too. Glad I made it through the last sprint. Yes, I'm glad you made it through. I did not. I kind of shut it down after looking at the same sentence like 3 or 4 times and realizing that my brain was fried. So I am also done for the day. All right, CB, I'll just wait for CB's update if CB is still with us. And anyone else who's joined us, thanks for coming by, and we'll see you next Sunday. I'm just going to take off my little banners here. It doesn't look like Story Tyrant's going to make it back on. All right, so have a great rest of your day. Oh, there's CB, 360. Woo, that's the biggest sprint you've done today. That's awesome. Good job. Yes, I like it. All right, so have a good rest of your day, afternoon, evening, night, or whatever, and we'll see you next week.